Hi, I'm Rick Bertner. I'm a serial tech entrepreneur, and I've been living the entrepreneurial dream for 25 plus years. And we're here today with Santiago, and we're going to talk about some of the concerns and some of the opportunities that we think are out there in the market.
Absolutely. No, Rick, thank you for having me. I'm really looking forward to you. And also, thanks for the introduction. Rick is someone who I've known for a, a couple months now. Definitely someone I look up to and strive to have my businesses doing, to have a similar level of success. So, yeah, thanks for inviting me on, Rick. And I think the first thing that we had wanted to talk about was just the funding space in general, right? Small businesses are the backbone economy. So, I wanted to hear it from you, Rick. How do you feel about the funding for small businesses in America?
So, there are a lot of changes that the country's undergoing right now. And
Yeah.
the teams and I have built three prior fast-growing tech companies, and they won a number of awards. Inc. 500, number one, as the case was, Virginia fast-growing company, and ultimately they generated value of 100 plus million or more, and that led to
Mm-hmm.
attractive exits. So we've got a little bit of experience with fundraising. I think I've raised 175 million of equity
Sheesh.
and almost 500 million of debt, lines of credit, and things like that. So when I look at the current environment, we're bringing together 10 people, partners, a team that's worked together, and we wanted to try a different model. And in in that we didn't want to go out and raise, you know, a buku amount of equity or capital and then hire all these people with expensive salaries and have a burn rate. And it's like a pyramid. You bring a lot of money in at the base and you aspire to
Yeah.
reach the pinnacle. Well, some people have said, Rick, you're bootstrapping.
Yeah.
Not really. Bootstrapping is friends and family, small amounts of money, try to grow to the next level. This is an inverted pyramid where we had smaller amounts of capital. I ostensibly became the largest funder, and
Yeah.
now my wife and I have over 3 million in the company, no venture capital. But the plan was always to bring in larger institutional funding as we moved up that upside down or inverted pyramid. And ultimately, as you grow and succeed, you've got the large base now at the top, and you have plenty of opportunity to reward your customers along the way with lesser cost, great service,
Mm-hmm.
latest technology, your employees, and then you can also reward the investor because you're not
Absolutely.
at the negativity of all the expense eating away at the money early on. You can use it for value. You can't take care of the customer, deliver a lower price, and you're profitable while you grow. If you have the right broad partners and experienced people, you can leverage your global international partner group that
Yeah.
love a company like this as you expand. And you can't take care of the employees, certainly creating 10 plus millionaires. How are you going to do that? And then take care of the investor to that extent with a 5x return. Investors are used to getting theirs first. And okay, if the other people make it or not. And
Yeah.
how many of these young companies, with the success that the venture group has had over the recent years, hence they're not investing in the earlier stage because it's too much work for too little money. So they're moving
No,
up.
100%.
Well, if they were taking care of these three groups to the extent that we're espousing, they probably wouldn't have all that capital you know,
Absolutely.
in their war chest. It would have spread the wealth around and ultimately furthered innovation and entrepreneurship in a bigger, badder way in our country.
Yeah. No, it's crazy stuff happening, and it's I mean, it's crazy to me that someone like you who's raised over nine figures before, how difficult it was to raise it this go around when it really is the needle in the haystack with the product market fit.
We have this overseas EU investor committed, wiring money, and they're bringing on an experienced guy to be a board member observer. Because people overseas aren't going to fly over here to board meetings for U.S. company investments. That's not
Yeah.
practical. So we've met, talked, and he said, you've got the experience of having built and led teams with three breakout tech companies already. And a lot of people are tech entrepreneurs, newbies that, here I appreciate the fact that you're a Gen Z guy. And here I am, a baby boomer, and you're our podcast partner and lead gen partner based in Austin. I'm up in the mid
Mm-hmm.
Atlantic looking at offices in Nashville and maybe Ashburn, Virginia, and places like that. And we're learning from each other. I mean, when we
Yeah.
met, you said, Rick, I want to learn from you. And it's like, Santiago, I want to learn from you as
Yeah.
well. Um,
It's
so
flattering.
that's the beauty of this. We're not just
Mm-hmm.
cloned, and we're going to bring different dimensions to the party. But
Yeah.
the guy, back to him, was saying, you've done this 3 times. You have a leg up on the early first time beginner tech entrepreneur with a great idea. And, I thanked him for the compliment. But later, I thought, you know, it's just not that. It's a chess game. And I love playing chess where you think 10 moves ahead. You don't play checkers where you just make your next move. You think about where I'm going, where they're going, and you run scenarios in your mind. 10 plays, whatever ahead, if you do it well. Well, I can do 20 plays having done that. I already know the plays to make. And but apart from that, and in addition to that, if you have 10 strong team members and you have 5 strong board members, they already know how to play chess with 20 moves.
Mm-hmm.
And now you put that together in a collage, and it's like, whoa, you know, what power that is. And then you put 25 years, whatever experience that we bring individually in the industry and tech, and the network of people you can call, you know,
Precisely.
it's like, whoa, it's the snowball effect of getting bigger and bigger with that exponential list of contacts experience. That's the beauty. And we all have to come together and work as a team. Even though 3.5 fully funds our plan, a lot of investors would say, whoa, you're going to need more capital than that. No, if we didn't go international as quickly and we were careful like we are, we'd make that work and we're profitable. We wouldn't have to go out and raise more money. We're not trying to build the $1 billion company this round.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely. No, it's definitely a problem. And if anyone who's listening to this feels the same way, feel free to share that story in the link we put below.
yeah, we want that. You can help me with that as part of your AI and data gathering and lead gen
Yeah.
capability. And so
Perfect.
if there's someone that gets excited about it and wants to be a part of this, yeah, I have a board recruiter in Silicon Valley looking for 2 board spots for me. And I
Boom.
purposely said I want to be in an entrepreneurial type environment, but I also want to have it in a larger company. It could be a potential acquirer or a more international flavor because some of that gets back to my roots and my DNA and my capability. So I don't want to do pure startups and get kind of typecast, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, and
I agree. I agree.
he's teed up, just to put a ribbon around that, a very capable product customer facing person that looks like she could be a nice addition to our team. And then
Yeah.
she knows a guy that's built 7 IPO companies. It's like, and I talked to him this afternoon. So it's funny how things work. You know,
Yeah.
like the
Nice.
guy that's the Middle Eastern guy that's on our board. that has AI experience and he's working for a big company right now. He was saying, man, I miss the days when we built a 70 million company with 8 people. Um,
Hey, those days are right now.
well, and so he said, I'd love to be on the beach, doing that again. And I said, well, we have a Propel Beach. The B stands for Better Technology and Solutions. The E, the acronym stands for Employees Eager to Over Deliver and Impress. And you
Yeah.
get into the A, you know, why don't you come join us? And here's a guy that we met, talked about a board role, and now all of a sudden he's going, I think I could handle a 2 to 3 year run to make the
Yeah.
beach. So
Amazing. All
the
right. And that's just the
guy,
power of, yeah.
it's the power of networking and having positive energy. And yeah, it's not where you stand today, but where you're headed and who's going to help you there. And do you have the talent to get there? Um,
Yeah.
and the master of the game taught me that. He said the day before he punched the button and wired 6 million, the 28-year-old and the 20, he was probably 32-year-old in particular, wanted to have a sit down with this lead partner. And their question was, how do you see me fitting? And how does this play out?
Yeah.
And they both, I wasn't worried about that. I already knew it. I had been in the romp and you perform and you get more responsibility. That's the way the game works. But they
Yep.
asked the question. He said, Scott, you're a 28-year-old guy. You know, it's brilliant what you've done, what you've gotten. You put people like Rick in and stuff. Okay. But, you know, there's a lot that's going to be expected of you if you're going to be the CTO of my billion
Yeah.
dollar company. And I'm not going to let up on you, and you're going to have to stretch big. And if you don't, we've got agreements that lay out what happened, and
Exactly.
he went around to the next guy and said, you're a little older, but again, you're new to this. And then he came to me and said, Rick, you've done it before. We're rallying a lot around you. You got
Yeah.
regulatory, you got vendor stuff, you got finance stuff. You've helped raise this money, but all of you have to step up and give us your A game, or else you won't be
Absolutely.
here. And
Absolutely. And there it is. There it is.
that's it.
Well, amazing. I appreciate you sharing the story, Rick. We will drop the link down below. Feel free to fill it out with all the stuff we talked about. But no, Rick, thank you so much for having me on the podcast.
And likewise, thanks for you being a part of our group and blowing the doors off of Texas success for us.
Oh yeah, big things coming. Big things coming. Thanks, Rick.
Amen. Thank you.